Zooey Mama, how's it going, everybody? I'm here today to give my in-depth prediction for Skaar, who is the January Season Pass card coming to Marvel Snap. Skaar is a 6-cost, 11-powered card with the ability that he costs 2 less for each of your cards that has 10 or more power. So for every card you have on your side of the board that currently has 10 or more power, he will cost 2 less. Now, this is currently still just data mined. We have not seen the new season video and updates that Second Dinner usually releases right around this time. I think they're all on vacation, so I'm not sure when we will see that, but it will come out, and I do expect this to be his final stat line. Maybe we see it change slightly, but I think this is probably a very accurate data mine so far, considering it's so close to his release. And it does look like that on the first week of Skaar's release, we will also have another new card coming to the game. That card is Kyera. So Skaar is the Season Pass card, and Kyera is the new card that will be available in Spotlight caches during that first week, again, according to the current schedule that we have. Now, I'm going to go over 2 deck ideas I have for Skaar and what I'll be trying him out in week 1, and then I'll go in just to my final review and where I think he fits into the game and if he's worth getting. If you do usually get the Season Pass, then you're probably getting Skaar anyways, but if you only get the Season Pass, if you really like the card that's featured, then you are going to want to think about it and really try to evaluate if Skaar is going to be good or wait and see him in action. So, to take a look at the first deck I'm going to be using with Skaar, I think this one is very promising actually. It's a high evo deck, similar to a high evo She-Not, but it does not use Infinite. Okay, Infinite is not in here, and I think that's actually a good thing. The one big problem with the high evo She-Not, Infinite decks is that you try and skip turn 6 to play Infinite plus She-Hulk on turn 7, but if your opponent gets rid of Limbo, you just lost the game and a bunch of cubes, okay, if they take you by surprise on turn 6. And so with this deck, we actually don't have Infinite. We want to play cards on every turn. We also do have Kyera in here, and by the way, her ability is that she has an ongoing effect that your 1 and 6 cost cards can't be destroyed. So if you do have Kyera on the board, she'll protect your Sunspot, your Nebula, your Misty Knight, and she will protect your She-Hulk, Skaar, and Hulk in this deck. So turn 1, you'll look to start off with Sunspot, Nebula, or Misty Knight, get these ramp cards going. Come around to turn 3, play a 3-drop. Turn 4, play another 3-drop if you want to then play She-Hulk on turn 5. That will reduce Skaar's cost by 2, so on turn 6 he would cost 4, but turn 6 you could actually just play your Evolved Hulk, and then on turn 7 you could play a 2-cost Skaar alongside something else, or you could just float the rest of the energy so it gets soaked up by Sunspot, Misty Knight, Cyclops, and your Evolved Hulk on the board, all powering up. So I think this is just a good home for him. It puts Skaar alongside She-Hulk and Hulk, which is very fitting thematically. And I think this deck is going to be pretty strong. I do enjoy playing some high evo myself, so I'm definitely going to be trying this out, and it's a good way to try out Kyera and Skaar at the same time. Now, the other deck that I'm looking at for Skaar is a Shuri deck, and Skaar is not the main win condition here. He's actually more of a backup. Shuri decks can be really strong if you turn 4 Shuri, turn 5 Red Skull, turn 6 Taskmaster. Okay, we all know the great Shuri combo, but sometimes you don't get it, and when that happens, Shuri decks can often fall flat. But in this case, if you don't end up having Shuri, but you did say get Sauron down on turn 3, you can look to play Typhoid Mary on turn 4, which discounts your Skaar. And turn 5, you could play Skaar right away, or you could even play Red Skull to discount Skaar even more. And so Skaar is really more of a backup option here if you don't have the classic Shuri Red Skull Taskmaster combo. Okay, he's just another option that can really help you out. And overall, to get into my final rating of Skaar, fun-wise, I think he's okay. It will be fun at times to just slap down big power, but he doesn't have any crazy ability. He is very one-dimensional. He's essentially a vanilla card that changes his cost, okay? Because once he's on the board, he has no ability. His whole ability is the cost reduction. Flexibility, I think, is there. He works in the decks I showed, right, with high Evo. He can work with Shuri. He's going to work with some Lockjaw decks, whether that's with or without Thanos. He might just work with some other big decks that people come up with, maybe stuff with like a Tuma and or Namor, just these big power cards. So I do think he fits in a lot of places, and because of that, he will find one or multiple homes in the meta. In terms of being competitive, I think he's decent. I'm not as hyped on him as some other people, but I do think he's decent. I'm giving him 2 out of 4 stars for competitive, but again, I'm saying he's pretty flexible, and he will be able to contribute to a good amount of decks, but I'm not sure he carries any of them. See, if you have a deck that can get Skaar to be free, you get him down to be a 0 cost 11 powered card, you've already won that game. Okay, if you build a deck just around Skaar, I think he just becomes a win more card, and he's not needed. Your opponent is going to retreat before you even get him down. I think often, if you don't build the deck around Skaar, he's there as a supporting card. He will at times cost 2, but he will often cost 4. So I look at him as kind of like a 4/11 with no ability, okay, a vanilla 4/11 card. And you have to ask yourself, would you play a vanilla 4/11 in your deck? If you just had a vanilla 4/11 in the game, you could put it in your deck, would you play it? And I think a good amount of people would. I mean, Crossbones is 8 power, Jessica Jones gets to 10 now. So a vanilla 4/11 would be pretty decent, I think. But you often can't play him on turn 4. Okay, you almost never have a card with 10 or more power on your side of the board by the end of turn 3. Okay, you need to do like Forge into Gladiator, or get lucky with locations with Monster Island or something. So I look at him now as a vanilla 4/11 that you can only play on turn 5 or 6. Okay, now it doesn't sound so appealing. So again, there will be times where he works, but in the decks where he does work and where he can provide power, I think it's already up to that deck if you get the draws or not, right? If you're playing a Lockjaw deck, sometimes you get great stuff out of Lockjaw. You get these huge powered cards. Your opponent's going to retreat right there. You've already won the game. Sometimes you don't get good stuff. You get small powered cards. Well, if you get small powered cards, Skaar isn't helping you. He's not getting a discount if you don't draw well, if you don't get your cards on board. So if you have any kind of delays, or if your opponent plays Mobius and Skaar can't even get discounted, he's just going to be stuck as a 6/11. So I do fear he's one of these cards that when things are going well, you can get him down. But if things are not going well, he puts you further in the hole. Like you are just further behind because you've just got this 6/11 sitting in your hand. So he's a bit of a win more card in my opinion, but again, I think he's pretty flexible. I definitely will be trying him out. I do think he's gonna have some interesting decks that people come up with, whether it's similar to the ones I showed or completely different. I am interested to see where he finds his home or homes in the meta. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you think I'm being a bit too harsh on Skaar, just saying he's kind of decent or average, or if you think he's going to be a really strong season pass card. And we'll have to see how it goes. See you next time.